Commander Jake Harrison stood in the waiting room outside the Galactic Council chambers. His hands were steady, but his heart beat fast. He had been Earth's representative to the aliens for 3 years now. In all that time, he had never seen them this angry. The space station Nexus Prime floated in the darkness between stars. It was huge, bigger than any city on Earth. Ships from dozens of alien races docked at its ports every day. Jake could see them through the window, strange vessels that looked like nothing humans had ever built. The door opened with a soft hiss. A tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms walked out. Its eyes were like black glass, and it did not look at Jake as it passed. Jake knew this meant the council was ready for him. He walked into the chamber. The room was circular and vast. Alien beings sat in rows that went up toward the ceiling. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange that Jake still felt surprised when he saw them, even after 3 years. At the front of the room sat the most powerful aliens in the galaxy. The Zephyrians controlled most of the known worlds. Their leader, High Counselor Vextar, was bigger than the others. His skin was dark purple and his eyes glowed with a cold light. "Human," Vextar said. His voice was deep and echoed in the chamber. "Your species has been part of our council for 50 of your years." Jake nodded. "Yes, High Counselor. We are grateful for the chance to learn from more advanced civilizations." Several aliens made sounds that Jake had learned meant they were laughing, but it was not friendly laughter. "Learn," Vextar repeated. "Yes, you have learned much, perhaps too much." The High Counselor stood up. He was nearly 8 feet tall. "Your people spread across the galaxy like a virus. You take world after world. You build colonies where you have no right to be." Jake felt his stomach tighten. This was what Earth's leaders had feared would happen. "High Counselor, humans have followed all council laws about expansion. We have taken only empty worlds or worlds that other species did not want." "Empty?" Another alien spoke up. This one looked like a giant insect with green wings. "You took the Kepler system. We had plans for those worlds." "The Altair colonies," said another alien that looked like a walking tree. "Those were to be ours in 50 more years." More voices joined in. Jake realized that many species in the council were angry about human expansion. They had been talking about this for a long time before today. Vextar raised one of his 4 hands and the chamber became quiet. "The human problem has grown too large to ignore. Your species multiplies too fast. You adapt too quickly to new worlds. You will soon threaten the natural order of the galaxy." Jake tried to stay calm. "High Counselor, humans seek only to find new homes for our growing population. We mean no threat to anyone." "No threat?" Vextar's eyes glowed brighter. "Your ships appear in new systems every year. Your colonies grow stronger while older species remain stable. This cannot continue." The High Counselor touched a device on his wrist. A hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed the galaxy with colored dots marking different species' territories. The human territory was small compared to the Zephyrians, but it was growing fast. "50 years ago you had 1 world," Vextar said. "Today you have 12. Your population on each world doubles every 20 years. At this rate, you will claim 100 worlds within 2 centuries. Jake looked at the hologram. He had seen similar maps in Earth's military briefings. The aliens were right about human expansion, but they did not understand why it was happening. "High Counselor, Earth is overpopulated. We must find new worlds or our people will suffer." "Your suffering is not our concern," said the insect-like alien. "Our species took thousands of years to spread across 10 worlds. Humans do it in decades." Vextar waved his hand, and the hologram changed. Now it showed human ships moving between stars. "Your vessels are primitive compared to ours, yet you travel farther and faster than species with better technology. How do you explain this?" Jake knew the real answer, but he could not tell them. Humans had learned to build better engines by studying captured alien technology. Earth's scientists had improved on alien designs in ways the original creators never imagined. But admitting this would make the aliens even more angry. We are motivated by necessity, Jake said carefully. When survival is at stake, humans work very hard. Yes, Vextar said slowly. You work hard. Perhaps too hard. This brings us to why you are here today. The High Counselor touched his device again. The hologram disappeared. The Galactic Council has made a decision about the human problem. You will stop all expansion beyond your current 12 worlds. You will accept Zephyrian guidance in how you govern these worlds. You will limit your population growth to rates that we approve. Jake felt cold. This was exactly what Earth's government had expected, but hearing it still shocked him. High Counselor, these terms would make humans a subject species. We cannot accept limitations on our basic rights. Rights? The insect alien buzzed with anger. You speak of rights when you threaten the stability of the galaxy? Your species is young and dangerous, Vextar continued. You need guidance from civilizations that have learned wisdom over millennia. The Zephyrian Empire will provide this guidance. Jake looked around the chamber. Most of the aliens were nodding in agreement. A few species that he thought were friendly to humans would not meet his eyes. What if Earth's government refuses these terms? Jake asked. Vextar smiled, showing teeth like black crystals. Then we will impose them by force. The combined fleets of the Council species could destroy every human world in a matter of days. Your primitive ships would not even slow us down. Jake's training kicked in. He had been taught never to show fear or anger when dealing with alien threats. High Counselor, I will need to communicate these terms to my government. They will require time to consider such important decisions. How much time? Vextar asked. 48 hours to send the message and receive a reply. The aliens spoke among themselves in their various languages. Jake caught some words he recognized, but most of the conversation was beyond his understanding. Finally, Vextar nodded. Very well. You have 48 of your hours. But do not mistake our patience for weakness. The Council has decided. Humanity will accept our guidance or humanity will be removed from the galaxy. Jake bowed formally. I will deliver your message, High Counselor. As he turned to leave, Jake heard one of the aliens whisper to another. 48 hours for a species to choose between slavery and extinction. The humans should be grateful we give them even that much time. Jake walked out of the chamber with steady steps. But inside, his mind was racing. He had to get word to Earth immediately. Admiral Carter and the others needed to know that the moment they had all been preparing for had finally arrived. The aliens thought they were giving humanity an ultimatum. They had no idea they were about to face the biggest surprise in galactic history. Admiral Lisa Carter received Jake Harrison's message in the underground command center on Earth. The room was deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, hidden from any alien sensors that might be watching the planet. She read the report twice, then looked up at the other people in the room. It's time, she said simply. General Paul Martinez nodded. He had been waiting for this day for 30 years. Are all the fleets ready? Dr. Emma Stone checked her computer screen. Every ship is in position, every crew is standing by. We can begin Operation Daybreak whenever you give the order. Lisa looked at the huge screen on the wall. It showed a map of the galaxy with thousands of tiny blue dots scattered across it. Each dot was a human ship. The aliens had no idea these ships existed. Let me tell you about Project Deepwatch, Lisa said to the younger officers who had just been brought into the secret. 30 years ago, when humans first met the Zephyrians, our leaders knew this day would come. The aliens were too powerful and too proud to let us grow freely forever. She touched a button, and the screen changed to show Earth's early space missions. While our diplomats talked about peace and friendship, our scientists and engineers began the largest secret project in human history. We started building a war fleet. Captain Ryan Brooks commanded one of the hidden shipyards near the Kepler 442 system. His facility looked like a simple mining operation from the outside. But deep inside the asteroid where he worked, his team had built over 200 warships. Amy, what's the status on the last batch of destroyers? Ryan asked his chief engineer. Amy. Wells looked up from her workstation. Final systems check complete, Captain. All ships are ready for combat operations. Steve Cooper, the tactical officer, grinned as he watched the new ships move out of the construction bays. The aliens are going to wet themselves when they see what we've built. Ryan laughed, but his expression was serious. Remember, once we reveal these ships, there's no going back. The galaxy will never be the same. The human fleet was massive, beyond anything the aliens could imagine. While other species built a few dozen ships every year, humans had been building thousands. They worked in shifts around the clock, using automated factories and new construction techniques that no alien species had developed. But size was not the only advantage humans had. Dr. Stone had led the technology development program, and her teams had created weapons and defenses that surpassed even Zephyrian equipment. The aliens made one big mistake, Emma explained to the officers in the command center. They thought human technology was primitive because our early ships were simple. They never realized we were studying their technology and improving on it. The screen showed technical drawings of human warships. They looked different from alien vessels, sleeker, more aggressive, built for war rather than exploration. While the Zephyrians focused on energy weapons and deflector shields, we perfected kinetic warfare. Our guns fire solid projectiles at incredible speed. Their shields designed to stop energy beams are almost useless against our weapons. General Martinez pointed to another display. Our ships also use quantum tunneling drives. The aliens track ships by their energy signatures, but our drives leave almost no signature at all. We can appear anywhere without warning. The human fleet included ships of every size, small interceptors that could outrun anything the aliens had, heavy cruisers armed with enough firepower to destroy alien space stations, and massive dreadnoughts that were larger and more powerful than anything else in the galaxy. Captain Ben Taylor commanded the first battle group from his flagship near the Tau Ceti system. His formation included 50 major warships and twice as many support vessels. Similar fleets were hidden throughout human space and beyond. Admiral Morrison, are your deep strike teams in position? Ben asked over the secure communication channel. Admiral, Kate Morrison replied from her command ship, which was currently hiding in the shadow of a gas giant in Zephyrian territory. All deep strike vessels are ready, Ben. We have ships within attack range of every major alien military base. The most impressive part of the human plan was how they had positioned their forces. For months, small groups of human ships had been moving into alien space using their stealth drives. They traveled slowly and carefully, avoiding detection while getting into perfect attack positions. Captain Lisa Park commanded one of these stealth ships. Her vessel had been watching Zephyrian fleet movements for 6 weeks, hiding in the asteroid belt around their main naval base. Lieutenant Commander Hughes, how many alien ships are at the base? Lisa asked. Tom Hughes checked his sensors. I count 47 major warships, Captain. Their entire third fleet is here. Lisa smiled. When the time came, her ship and 5 others would attack this base simultaneously. The Zephyrians would lose their entire third fleet before they even knew they were under attack. Back on Earth, the revelation of Project Deepwatch was causing shockwaves through human society. For 30 years, families had believed their government was peaceful and unprepared for war. Now they learned that their leaders had been building the most powerful military force in galactic history. Sarah Thompson sat in her living room, watching the news reports with disbelief. Her husband Dan had told her he was commanding an exploration vessel on the frontier. Now she learned that he was actually the captain of a heavy cruiser armed with enough weapons to destroy a small moon. How could they keep this secret for so long? She whispered to herself. The answer was careful planning and compartmentalization. Most humans involved in the project knew only their small part of it. Construction workers thought they were building mining equipment. Transport crews thought they were moving supplies for research stations. Only a few hundred people knew the full scope of the operation. Dr. Stone made the final preparations for Operation Daybreak. The plan was elegant in its simplicity. At exactly the same moment, every human ship in the galaxy would reveal itself. The aliens would go from thinking humans had a few dozen exploration vessels to seeing a fleet of over 10,000 warships. Admiral Carter, all fleet commanders are standing by. Emma reported. "We can execute Operation Daybreak on your command." Lisa looked at the countdown timer on her screen. 26 hours remained until Jake Harrison had to give the aliens Earth's answer to their ultimatum. "Not yet," she said. "Let them think they have us trapped for a little longer. When we reveal the fleet, I want it to be a complete surprise." She thought about the alien leaders who were probably celebrating their victory right now. They believed they had cornered humanity and forced them to choose between slavery and destruction. They had no idea that humanity had a third option. "General, Martinez, send word to all our people in alien space. Tell them to be ready. In 26 hours, we're going to show the galaxy what happens when you threaten the human race." Paul nodded and began sending coded messages to human agents across the galaxy. The messages were short and simple. "The storm is coming. Take cover." Meanwhile, Admiral Nick Watson prepared his flagship, the ENS Retribution, for its role in the operation. His massive dreadnought was currently hiding behind the moon of an uninhabited planet, just 2 light hours from Nexus Prime, where Jake Harrison waited to deliver Earth's response. When Operation Daybreak began, Nick's ship would appear directly behind the Zephyrian fleet at the space station. The aliens would suddenly find themselves face to face with a human warship that could destroy their entire formation in minutes. "Captain Gray, are your strike teams ready?" Nick asked over the communication system. Captain Ellen Gray commanded. "The ships that would attack the secret Zephyrian weapons research facility." The aliens had been developing new weapons specifically designed to kill humans. They would not get the chance to use them. "All teams ready, Admiral. We'll take out that research station before they know what hit them." As the countdown continued, Lisa Carter felt a mixture of excitement and fear. Operation Deepwatch represented 30 years of planning, building, and preparation. If it worked, humanity would become one of the dominant powers in the galaxy. If it failed, the human race might not survive. But Lisa was confident in her people and their ships. The aliens had made the mistake of underestimating humanity. They were about to learn that humans were far more dangerous than they appeared. 26 hours, she said quietly. 26 hours, and then we change everything. Commander Jake Harrison sat alone in his quarters on Nexus Prime. 12 hours remained before he had to give Earth's answer to the Galactic Council. He stared out the window at the alien ships floating near the space station. The Zephyrians had brought more warships during the night, making their threat very clear. His communication device beeped softly. A message from Admiral Carter appeared on the screen. "Proceed as planned. Help is closer than they think." Jake smiled for the first time in days. He knew what that message meant. The secret fleet was ready. In just a few hours, the most arrogant species in the galaxy would get the shock of their lives. High Counselor Vexitar was growing impatient. He had called 3 meetings with his military commanders since yesterday. The human response was taking too long for his liking. "Why do we wait for these primitives to make up their minds?" asked Admiral Kresh, the Zephyrian fleet commander. "Their answer should be obvious. Submit or die." Vextar walked to the window of his command ship. Below them, Nexus Prime looked small compared to his massive vessel. "Patience, Kresh. Let the humans have their moment of false hope. When they surrender, it will be even sweeter." What the aliens did not know was that human ships had been moving into position around them all night. Captain Lisa Park's stealth vessel had crept closer to the Zephyrian naval base. Her sensors now counted 53 alien warships, including their newest and most powerful vessels. "Tom, are you picking up any signs that they've detected us?" Lisa whispered to her sensor officer. Lieutenant Commander Tom Hughes shook his head. "Nothing, Captain. Their scanners are looking for energy signatures like their own ships produce. Our quantum drives are invisible to them." Similar scenes were playing out across the galaxy. Human ships moved like ghosts through alien space, getting into perfect attack positions while remaining completely undetected. On Earth, the news of Project Deepwatch continued to spread through human society. Some people were angry about being lied to for 30 years. Others felt proud that their leaders had been so clever and forward-thinking. Sarah Thompson had not slept all night. She kept thinking about her husband Dan and the dangerous mission he was really on. She finally decided to call her sister Mary, who lived in the Luna City colony. "Mary, did you know about any of this?" Sarah asked when her sister answered the video call. Mary's face looked tired and worried. "Not until yesterday. But now that I think about it, there were signs. Remember how many young people went to work for mining companies in the outer systems? And all those research projects that were classified?" Sarah nodded. "Dan always said his exploration missions were top secret. I thought he was just being dramatic." "Our husbands are out there protecting us," Mary said softly. "We have to trust that they know what they're doing." In the underground command center on Earth, Admiral Carter was coordinating the final preparations. Every few minutes, reports came in from human commanders across the galaxy. All of them said the same thing: ready and waiting. Dr. Emma Stone sat at her computer, monitoring the fleet's status. 10,417 ships were now in position. It was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history, and the aliens had no idea it existed. "Admiral, we're getting a message from Commander Harrison," reported Lieutenant Colonel Frank Davis, the communications officer. Lisa read the message on her screen. Jake was requesting permission to address the full Galactic Council in 2 hours. The aliens had agreed, expecting to receive humanity's surrender in front of all the member species. "Perfect," Lisa said. "Signal all fleet commanders. Operation Daybreak begins the moment Jake starts his speech." General Paul Martinez checked the deployment map one more time. Human ships were positioned not just in alien space, but throughout the galaxy. When they revealed themselves, every species would see them at the same time. "Emma, what's the latest from our people monitoring alien communications?" Paul asked. Dr. Stone pulled up another screen. "The aliens are celebrating. They think they've won without firing a shot. Several species are already discussing how to divide up human territory after we surrender." Paul laughed grimly. "They're going to be very disappointed." Admiral Nick Watson made final checks on his flagship, the ENS Retribution. In less than 2 hours, his massive dreadnought would appear behind the Zephyrian fleet at Nexus Prime. The aliens would suddenly find themselves face to face with a ship more powerful than anything they had ever seen. "All stations report ready, Admiral," said Captain Jennifer Price, his executive officer. "The crew is excited to finally show these aliens what human engineering can do." Nick looked at the holographic display showing the area around Nexus Prime. "Jennifer, make sure our appearance is as dramatic as possible. I want the Zephyrians to see us and immediately understand how badly they've miscalculated." Captain Ryan Brooks was also making final preparations at his hidden shipyard. His construction facility had built some of the most advanced ships in the human fleet. Soon, the galaxy would see what humans could accomplish when they put their minds to it. "Amy, Steve, I want you to know it's been an honor working with you," Ryan said to his chief engineer and tactical officer. "Whatever happens after today, we've done something amazing here." Amy Wells smiled. "Captain, I can't wait to see the look on the aliens' faces when they realize how badly they underestimated us." Steve Cooper was checking weapon systems on the newly completed ships. "The Zephyrians think human technology is primitive. They're about to learn that primitive can be very effective when it's used right." Captain Ben Taylor was running final drills with the first battle group. His 50 warships had been hidden in the Tau Ceti system for months, waiting for this moment. Their target was the main Zephyrian supply depot, which provided equipment for their entire military. "All ships, this is Admiral Taylor," Ben said over the fleet communication channel. "In 90 minutes, we reveal ourselves to the galaxy. Remember, your training, follow your orders, and show these aliens why they should never threaten the human race." Similar messages were being sent by human commanders throughout the galaxy. Admiral Kate Morrison's deep strike teams were ready to attack alien military bases. Captain Ellen Gray's ships were prepared to destroy the Zephyrian weapons research facility. Hundreds of other human commanders were waiting for the signal to begin the largest military operation in history. Back on Nexus Prime, Jake Harrison was preparing for the most important speech of his life. He had been Earth's diplomatic representative for 3 years, but today he would become something very different. Today he would be the voice of humanity's transformation from apparent victim to galactic superpower. He put on his formal uniform and looked at himself in the mirror. In a few minutes, he would walk into that council chamber and deliver words that would change the galaxy forever. The aliens expected him to announce humanity's surrender. Instead, he would announce their complete miscalculation. His communication device beeped with a final message from Admiral Carter. "The fleet is ready, Jake. Make it count." Jake took a deep breath and headed for the door. Outside, alien guards waited to escort him to the council chamber. They treated him with the casual disrespect that aliens always showed to humans. That was about to change in a very dramatic way as he walked through the corridors of Nexus Prime. Jake thought about all the humans who had worked to make this moment possible. Engineers who had designed new weapons, construction workers who had built ships in secret, pilots who had risked their lives moving into position. All of them had trusted their leaders to know when the time was right. The time was right now. High Counselor Vextar was already in the council chamber, along with representatives from dozens of alien species. They were talking among themselves, making jokes about human weakness and stupidity. Some were already discussing how to divide up the 12 human worlds after Earth surrendered. "The human will try to negotiate," Vextar told the other council members. "He will ask for better terms, perhaps offer to limit expansion in exchange for keeping some independence. We will reject all such offers. Humanity must submit completely, or be destroyed completely." The aliens nodded in agreement. They had no doubt about their superiority. In their minds, the outcome of this meeting was already decided. They had no idea that in exactly 93 minutes, their entire understanding of galactic politics was about to be shattered by the largest surprise in military history. Jake reached the entrance to the council chamber. The alien guards opened the massive doors and he walked inside to face his destiny and theirs. Commander Jake Harrison walked to the center of the Galactic Council chamber. The massive room was packed with alien representatives from across the galaxy. Every species wanted to witness what they believed would be humanity's surrender. Hi. Counselor Vexistar sat on his throne-like chair, looking down at Jake with obvious satisfaction. "Human, you may deliver your government's response to our generous offer." Jake looked around the chamber slowly. In a few moments, every alien in this room would understand how completely they had misjudged humanity. He cleared his throat and began to speak. "High Counselor, honored members of the Galactic Council, I thank you for your offer regarding humanity's future. My government has carefully considered your terms." Murmurs of anticipation rippled through the chamber. The aliens were eager to hear humanity's submission. "However," Jake continued, "we believe the Council may have underestimated humanity's position in this matter." Several aliens laughed. The insect-like representative from the Krathari Empire buzzed with amusement. "Underestimated? Human, your entire species has 12 worlds and perhaps 50 ships. What is there to estimate?" Jake smiled. At that exact moment, thousands of light years away, Admiral Lisa Carter was giving the order that would change galactic history forever. "Operation Daybreak is now active," Lisa said calmly into her communication system. "All fleets reveal yourselves." Across the galaxy, human ships that had been hidden for months suddenly appeared on every sensor array. The massive human fleet decloaked simultaneously, revealing vessels of unprecedented size and obvious military purpose. The first report came from the Zephyrian homeworld. Admiral Kresh's voice crackled over the emergency communication channel to Nexus Prime. "High Counselor, unknown ships have appeared throughout our system, hundreds of them. They're enormous." Vextar's confident expression flickered. "What are you talking about, Admiral?" "Sir, there are human warships above our planet. The entire battle fleet just appeared out of nowhere. They have weapons trained on our orbital defenses." More reports flooded in from across Zephyrian space. Human ships had appeared simultaneously, at every major military installation, colony world, and strategic location. The careful positioning that had taken months was now paying off in spectacular fashion. Captain Lisa Park's stealth ship had revealed itself along with 50 other human vessels at the main Zephyrian naval base. The alien ships that had been docked there were completely surrounded. "Attention Zephyrian vessels," Lisa broadcast on all frequencies. "You are outnumbered and outgunned. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded for inspection." The Zephyrian base commander's response was immediate and panicked. "Who are you? Where did these ships come from?" "We are the human fleet," Lisa replied calmly. "We've been watching you for quite some time." Similar scenes were playing out throughout the galaxy. Captain Ben Taylor's first battle group had appeared at the Zephyrian supply depot. Admiral Kate Morrison's deep strike teams materialized around alien military bases. Hundreds of human commanders revealed themselves simultaneously, demonstrating coordination that shocked the alien observers. In the council chamber, chaos erupted as representatives received frantic reports from their homeworlds. The Krathari, delegates' communicator, was buzzing non-stop with emergency signals. The tree-like Valdari representative was swaying in distress as reports came in of human ships throughout their territory. "This is impossible," Vexitar roared, standing up from his throne. "Humans don't have a fleet. Our intelligence reports showed only exploration vessels." Jake's smile grew wider. "Your intelligence was exactly what we wanted it to see, High Counselor. While your people saw us as primitive and non-threatening, we were preparing for this day." More reports continued to flood the chamber. The scope of the human revelation was becoming clear, and it was beyond anything the aliens had imagined possible. Admiral Nick Watson's flagship, the ENS Retribution, chose this moment to make its appearance. The massive dreadnought materialized directly behind the Zephyrian fleet at Nexus Prime, its weapons trained on every alien vessel in the area. Through the chamber windows, the aliens could see the human ship. It was enormous, larger than any vessel in the Zephyrian fleet. Its hull gleamed with advanced armor, and weapon ports covered its surface like the eyes of a predator. "By the void," whispered one of the alien representatives. "That ship could destroy our entire fleet." The Retribution's appearance had an immediate effect on the Zephyrian ships near the station. Several alien captains began broadcasting surrender requests, unwilling to face the massive human warship in combat. "High Counselor," Admiral Kresh's voice was shaking as he reported from his flagship. "The human vessel has appeared behind us. It's targeting our engines and weapon systems. One ship, and it has firing solutions on our entire fleet." Vextar turned to stare at Jake with a mixture of rage and disbelief. How is this possible?" Jake walked closer to the High Counselor's throne. "For 30 years, while you thought we were weak and simple, we were studying your technology. We improved on your designs. We built weapons that your shields cannot stop. We developed stealth systems that your sensors cannot detect." The revelation continued as more human ships appeared throughout the galaxy. Captain Ellen Gray's strike team materialized around the secret Zephyrian weapons research facility. Her ships immediately disabled the station's defenses and began boarding operations. "Target neutralized," Ellen reported to Admiral Carter. "The aliens won't be developing any more anti-human weapons." Dr. Emma Stone monitored the operation from Earth's command center. Her screens showed the positions of over 10,000 human ships, all revealed simultaneously across dozens of star systems. "Admiral, the reveal is complete," she reported to Lisa Carter. "Every ship is in position and ready for combat operations." The psychological impact on the aliens was immediate and devastating. Species that had been confident in their technological superiority suddenly faced the reality that humans had not only matched their capabilities, but exceeded them. The Krathari representative was frantically trying to contact his homeworld. "The humans have ships around our core worlds. How did they get past our early warning systems?" Jake turned to address the entire chamber. The Galactic Council offered humanity two choices: submit to your guidance or face destruction, but you forgot that there was a third option. He paused, letting his words sink in before continuing. "We chose to be ready." High Counselor Vextar's confident demeanor had completely crumbled. The leader who had threatened to destroy every human world was now facing reports that human ships surrounded every Zephyrian world. "You want to know how we did it?" Jake asked. "It's simple. While you were celebrating your superiority and planning our subjugation, we were working. Every human colony that you thought was defenseless was actually a construction facility. Every mining operation was building warships. Every research station was developing new weapons. The scope of human deception was becoming clear to the aliens. For 30 years, humanity had maintained the appearance of a peaceful, exploration-focused civilization, while secretly building the largest military force in galactic history. But the numbers, Vextar stammered. You can't have built so many ships. It's impossible. Jake's expression became serious. High Counselor, you made one critical error. You assumed that because humans were new to space, we would think like you do. But humans don't work the way other species work. He gestured toward the window where the Retribution dominated the view. When other species build ships, they take years to complete each vessel. Humans built automated factories. We work in shifts, around the clock. We don't stop until the job is done. More reports continued to arrive. The full extent of human military preparation was staggering even to the aliens who were seeing it firsthand. Human ships had appeared not just in major systems but throughout the galaxy. The level of coordination required for such an operation was beyond anything the Galactic Council had ever attempted. Captain Ryan Brooks had revealed his construction facility along with the 200 warships it had built. The sight of so many advanced vessels emerging from what the aliens thought was a simple mining operation sent shockwaves through their intelligence services. This is Captain Brooks of the Kepler facility. He broadcast on all alien frequencies. We've been building ships right under your noses for 5 years. Your sensors never detected a thing. The aliens were beginning to understand that their entire view of humanity had been wrong. The species they had dismissed as primitive and harmless had been planning and preparing for this confrontation from the very beginning. High Counselor Vextar looked around the chamber desperately. His allies were receiving similar reports from their own territories. Human ships had appeared everywhere, demonstrating a reach and capability that no one had suspected. Jake decided it was time to drive the point home. High Counselor, you offered trust submission or destruction. We choose neither. Instead, we offer you a new option. Negotiate with us as equals, or face the consequences of your arrogance. The transformation was complete. In the space of a few minutes, humanity had gone from apparent victims to the strongest military power in the galaxy. The Galactic Council chamber had become completely silent. Every alien representative stared at Commander Jake Harrison as reports continued to flood in from across the galaxy. The scope of humanity's secret preparation was beyond anything they had imagined possible. High Counselor Vextar's hands shook as he received another message from his fleet commanders. High Counselor, came Admiral Kresh's terrified voice. The human ships are not just surrounding us, they're more advanced than anything we've ever seen. Our weapons can't penetrate their armor, but their guns are cutting through. Our shields like they're not even there. Jake stepped closer to the Zephyrian leader's throne. High Counselor, would you like to reconsider your ultimatum? Perhaps we can discuss new terms that treat humanity as an equal partner rather than a subject species. But Vexitar was not ready to give up completely. His pride had been built on Zephyrian superiority for his entire life. You may have surprised us with your hidden fleet, but you cannot possibly defeat the combined forces of the entire Galactic Council. We have thousands of ships across dozens of species. Jake's expression became serious. Admiral Carter, I think it's time for the demonstration. From the underground command center on Earth, Admiral Lisa Carter gave her next order. All fleet commanders, execute limited engagement protocols. Show them what our weapons can do. Across the galaxy, human ships began their demonstration. They didn't attack to destroy, but to disable. The precision of their strikes was terrifying to observe. Captain Lisa Park's ships at the Zephyrian Naval Base opened fire with their kinetic weapons. The alien shields, designed to stop energy beams, were useless against solid projectiles moving at incredible speed. Within minutes, every Zephyrian ship at the base was disabled, their engines and weapons destroyed but their crews unharmed. Zephyrian Base Commander, Lisa broadcast, your ships are no longer capable of combat. Please prepare to be boarded for safety inspections. The terrified alien commander could only reply, we surrender. Please don't destroy us. Similar scenes played out throughout the galaxy. Admiral Kate Morrison's deep strike teams disabled alien military installations with surgical precision. Captain Ben Taylor's battle group destroyed the main Zephyrian supply depot, cutting off equipment to their entire fleet. The most dramatic moment came when Admiral Nick Watson's flagship demonstrated its power. The Retribution fired a single shot past the largest Zephyrian ship near Nexus Prime. The projectile, moving at a significant fraction of light speed, created a brilliant flash as it vaporized space debris in its path. "That was a warning shot," Nick announced calmly. "The next one will not miss." In the council chamber, alien representatives watched in horror as their military forces were systematically disabled. The coordination was perfect, the precision was frightening, and the technology was clearly superior to anything they possessed. But the most shocking moment was yet to come. Small alien species that had been oppressed by Zephyrian dominance began reaching out to humanity for protection. The Talani, a peaceful species that the Zephyrians had been threatening for years, sent a message directly to Jake Harrison. "Human representative," came the voice of the Talani ambassador. "We formally request protection from the human fleet. We no longer recognize Zephyrian authority over our worlds." More species followed. The Karathi, the Nexari, the hegemony of distant suns. Species that had been forced to submit to Zephyrian power were suddenly declaring independence under human protection. Vextar realized that his empire was crumbling before his eyes. Not only had humans revealed a superior military force, but they were inspiring rebellion among his subject species. "Stop this," he roared at Jake. "Order your ships to stand down. We can negotiate." Jake shook his head. "High Counselor, the time for negotiation passed when you threatened to destroy every human world. Now we negotiate from a position of strength." The final blow came when Captain Ellen Gray's team completed their mission at the Secret Weapons Research Facility. They had captured detailed records of Zephyrian plans to develop biological weapons specifically designed to kill humans. "Admiral Carter," Ellen reported, "we've found evidence of planned genocide. The Zephyrians weren't just planning to subjugate us, they were planning to wipe us out completely." This information was immediately transmitted to every ship in the human fleet and broadcast on all galactic communication channels. The revelation that the Zephyrians had been planning humanity's extinction changed everything. Species that had been neutral in the conflict suddenly turned against the Zephyrian Empire. Even some of Vextar's traditional allies began distancing themselves from his government. Jake looked around the council chamber. The alien representatives who had been laughing at human weakness just hours before now looked terrified and uncertain. "The evidence is clear," Jake announced. The Zephyrian Empire was not offering guidance, they were planning genocide. Humanity will not forget this, and we will not allow it to happen to any other species. High Counselor Vexitar's arrogance finally broke completely. Faced with military defeat, political rebellion, and the exposure of his genocidal plans, he did something that no Zephyrian leader had ever done in their history. He begged. "Please," Vextar said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Spare my people. We made a mistake. We didn't understand what we were dealing with." The proud alien leader who had threatened to destroy every human world was now pleading for mercy from the species he had planned to exterminate. Jake looked at him with a mixture of pity and contempt. "High Counselor, you offered humanity two choices: submission or death. We rejected both and chose a third option. Now, I offer you the same choice you gave us: surrender completely or face the consequences." The transformation was complete. Admiral Carter's voice came over the communication system. "All Zephyrian military forces have been neutralized. Their fleets are disabled, their bases are captured, and their government is in complete collapse." But humanity was not finished. Dr. Emma Stone had been monitoring communications across the galaxy, and her computers had identified every species that had supported the plan to subjugate or destroy humanity. "Admiral," Emma reported, "we have complete records of which species supported the Zephyrian ultimatum. Several governments were actively planning to claim human worlds after our destruction." Jake turned to address the entire council chamber. "To those species that supported the plan to destroy humanity, you will return any human territory you had claimed in your planning. You will pay reparations for the threat you posed to our civilians, and you will accept human oversight of your Military activities. The aliens who had been so confident in their superiority just hours before now found themselves in the position of defeated enemies begging for mercy. But humanity showed a wisdom that the aliens had not expected. Rather than seeking revenge, Jake announced the establishment of a new galactic order. The Galactic Council will be reformed, he declared. Humanity will be a founding member with full veto power over major decisions. No species will be permitted to threaten the extinction of another. And any species that seeks protection from oppression will find it under the shield of the human fleet. The new order was enforced by the continued presence of human ships throughout the galaxy. The massive fleet that had been hidden for 30 years now served as the foundation of galactic peace. Admiral Carter addressed the galaxy from Earth's command center. Humanity seeks peace, but we will never again allow others to mistake our desire for peace as weakness. We are prepared to defend not only our own freedom, but the freedom of any species that asks for our protection. The final scene showed the results of humanity's revelation. The Zephyrian Empire retained its territory, but lost its dominant position. High Counselor Vextar was removed from power by his own people, who blamed him for the catastrophic miscalculation. Commander Jake Harrison returned to Earth as a hero, the man who had delivered humanity's ultimatum to the galaxy. But the real heroes were the thousands of humans who had worked in secret for 30 years to make this moment possible. Captain Lisa Park was promoted to Admiral and given command of the new Galactic Patrol, ensuring that no species would again threaten genocide. Captain Ryan Brooks became head of ship construction, overseeing the continued expansion of humanity's fleet. Dr. Emma Stone began work on the next phase of human expansion, this time with the full knowledge and grudging respect of the galactic community. Her scientists started sharing some human technology with allied species, but always kept the most advanced weapons and defenses for themselves. The story ended with a view of the galaxy where human ships maintained their positions as a reminder that the age of alien dominance was over. Species that had ruled through fear and intimidation now had to consider the possibility that their victims might have hidden strengths. Admiral Carter stood in the command center, looking at the galactic map where blue dots marked human ships throughout known space. 30 years of preparation, she said quietly. It was worth every day. The aliens had learned a lesson that they would never forget. Never underestimate humanity.